A couple of years ago, post 9/11, just to set this up for Shane, we had to realize, though, as we started to invest in this, that we had to understand if customer preference still mattered in the airline industry. You guys are probably all business travelers. The bulk of our travelers are actually leisure, about 75%. And post 9/11, with the advent of and rise of low-cost carriers like Southwest, and now in our backyard, JetBlue and Virgin and Allegiant and WestJet. And we had to really ask ourselves a hard question: is investing in customer experience even matter anymore, or has this become a commodity? It matters a ton for Alaska Airlines. I mentioned we're a $3.5 billion company. We are a major carrier, but we're tiny compared to the Deltas and Americans and Uniteds of the world. Customer preference is everything to us. Our loyalty program, our golds, our tiered customers in the loyalty program actually spend about 40 times what a regular customer does on our airline. So customer preference matters a ton, but we also had to get the rest of this pyramid right. We use this pyramid a lot at Alaska. We have no pointy tip of the pyramid that I get to play in without the rest of this, without safe, reliable, and low costs, because customers want low fares. So we had to actually ask ourselves the question: does customer preference matter anymore? And then in this day and age, what drives it for Alaska Airlines? And what we found was, in digging through lots of customer data, was what drives customer preference for us is employee attitude. We grokked through a terabyte of customer data, looking to see of everything we do: fares, flights, schedules, mileage plan, customer service, what drives wallet share for our company. Not surprising to you marketers, it was the answer to one question, basically Net Promoter Score, likelihood to recommend. The way you read this is someone that rates us a 5 out of 5 in likelihood to recommend is the actual best predictor of wallet share for us. We backtracked from there, if you continue, Shane, and we found for our airline, the #1 driver of wallet share was courtesy and helpfulness. The way you read this is someone that rates us a 5 out of 5 on courtesy and helpfulness is 43 times more likely to recommend us, which again is the best predictor of wallet share. So as we looked at this, and as I started to look at this, what is genuine and caring service? What is courtesy and helpfulness for the industry now? It is investing in digital. It's investing in a personalized contextual experience. So this is where Shane and I decided to redesign the website, redesign the experience around a home-to-home. Go ahead, we'll keep rolling through this.
Yeah, we're just looking here at how do we rationalize social media, and that's my Groundhog's Day every day. The conversations about social and mobile as it relates to digital, and kind of our inside scoop as a digital agency, where we've got 30 different brands that we're working with at the level working with Steve, is we believe that within 12 to 18 months, social and mobile really won't even be the label, right? We're talking about marketing, we're talking about customer experience. Social should be embedded. So if you look at Alaska and where we're doing with them, social is just part of the entire equation rather than this discrete individual experience.
We knew going into this that we had a nice platform to work on. At Alaska, we sell 50% of our revenue over our corporate website, so we are now a retailer, where traditionally we were an airline and a channel marketer through agencies, and we use Orbitz very extensively, but over half of our revenue now comes direct. We have customers that really, really want to engage with us. They want to plan their trips with us. We've found that those that do come to us for travel planning are the most loyal customers that we have. The platform now is social and mobile. Alaska actually was the first airline also to do wireless check-in post 9/11 back in 2002. Built it, nobody used it because wireless data was so far behind. Now we have a platform where customers are actually starving for it and participating with us in terms of how we co-develop the website.
Yeah, I think this is interesting, and we've all heard the data about mobile, but if you look at this Morgan Stanley predictor of global mobile usage of the internet, within 5 years it will surpass the PC. How many people have the iPad? Right, that's amazing to me. There's only 4 or 5 people here. You also, iPhone. All right, yeah. Get the iPad. It's definitely worth it. And what I find is interesting is that we've all been talking about mobile being it's coming. It is here. I think we're at a flashpoint now where we look back in 5 or 10 years from now, and we won't realize how much is going on right now, really in the last little bit of time. So home to home, is something that we've been talking and working with Steve and his team on, and it's really the common sense philosophy of, when you fly somewhere, certainly you want to go to Miami, certainly you want to go to Brazil, but ultimately you want to get back home. And so when you think about all the different touch points as an airline carrier, we really think about that entire customer experience. And when you talk about preference, if you pay attention to all those different touch points rather than just that point of sale, I think you build loyalty, I think you build customer lifetime value. One of the things we spend a lot of time on, and certainly looking at the compete data, it helps us benchmark, is we look at segmentation. We look at the different audiences, and I'll show you an example a little bit later of some multivariate tests that we're doing within the consumer buying experience, to Steve's point about retail. But we look at these different audiences. Alaska Air is it's called Alaska Air for a reason, right? That is, the heritage is the state of Alaska. There are literally kids that, they arrive to school via the plane, right? They come into these cities, and they're literally coming into a boarding school, and so that, that Alaskan heritage and literally that customer segment is very, very different than the leisure traveler or the business traveler. So for us to understand those different audiences and target messages, target offers to those people is really critical. When you look at that journey that I was talking about, we look at all these different touch points. And so we'll talk you through, from the range of exploring all the way through to post-trip and just show you through, a couple use cases. Certainly when we look at, when did you guys bring on Hawaii as a new
coming up on 2 years ago.
Yeah, so if you look at somebody looking at a Kauai vacation, what we're going to do is, and this is actually launching here very soon, is just do a simple little dynamic targeting of the homepage, where if they type in through Google, Kauai, and then they click over, we're not going to show them that one-size-fits-all homepage. We're going to have a promotion for Kauai on the homepage. How many people here are doing that simple landing page targeting on their websites? So yeah, about a third of you. To me, that's if there's any piece of advice that I give you, is just that's such a simple thing to do, right? Amazon's done that for years, right? Targeting, but just think about that, that customer, that chasm between the advertising and the site side, and that handshake is usually so much of a chasm. If you just look at this landing page, we're getting conversions of 30 to 40% higher just by having a relevant message at the homepage rather than a one-size-fits-all.
It's actually fairly similar to what Jeff was talking about. We aren't creating pictures; we're creating memories. We're trying to create, enticing images. We're actually trying to take this. What was it, the chief memory officer to the place that she wants to go to take those photos. So. For us, you see a lot of airline websites, and you go to the website and you see their livery, you see an airplane. We're not. You guys don't love flying, right? I mean, you actually want to get to your destination. So we're trying to sell destinations better than we have before.
So just highlighting some things that we're doing, right? We're integrating Facebook data, customer reviews, within the website rather than pushing it all out to this separate social experience. So we're syndicating. The data from Twitter, from Facebook into the site and vice versa. When you look at mobile, to my earlier point, we've got this this concept of the Alaska Air wingman. Right, everybody needs a wingman when you're traveling, certainly in Miami, and so we've got this concept of the wingman, where it's a bundle of multiple mobile apps that all sit together, where we've got the fundamental functionality that everybody cares about, which is booking a flight, changing a flight, looking at your mileage plan. But then we're integrating all sorts of other value-add experiences and content, and I'll show you these. So one of these is called the pre-trip planner. If you look at one day out before you're traveling, certainly the chief memory officer is probably the one that's going through that checklist. So we're just doing simple, common sense, fundamental things where you can go in and look at all the things you need to do. If you're traveling with your family, right? You got to plan for the kids, right? So you got to go through that list. So why don't we just provide that in a mobile app? Where we've got reminders in there, it connects with your calendar. You've got your mobile check-in here. You've got alerts. So we're working on the concept of augmented reality inside the airport. Simple things. Where's the bathroom? Where's the gate? Did the gate change?
Yeah.
Are we on time?
Think about the subtle cross-sell, upsell opportunities we have in this experience now as well, which are very exciting to me. You might be surprised to find out, as an airline, the lowest margin thing we sell is air travel. Anybody know what the highest margin thing we sell is? It was on Jeff's list.
Ink?
Vodka. That's the highest margin thing we sell. And we have a point of sale device on board the airplane so we can monetize this stuff better. But as Shane and I have started to look at this home-to-home connected experience, putting customer experience first, we also have this opportunity to better monetize our customers and sell them the rest of the travel experience, not just the low margin air.